Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome. On behalf of the Consulate General of Japan in Korea and the Navy Regional Board, I have the great honor of welcoming you to this Remembrance ceremony to pay tribute to the fallen of Pearl Harbor. To comply with the following city and county gathering restrictions, only the Consul General of Japan and the commander of the Navy Regional Board will be participating in this year's ceremony. At this time, I would like to ask you to please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you very much for joining us in the moment of silence. The Pacific Fleet Band will now play the national anthems of the United States and Japan. Consul General of Japan in Korea, Mr. Yutaka, please come forward to begin.
Aloha. Today, December 8th, is remembered by the Japanese people as the day of Pearl Harbor. It was in the early morning hours of December 8th that Japan granted civilian and military units on that fateful day 79 years ago. Our 7 years back led to the quiet death suffering taking the lives of close numbers of soldiers and civilians. As the Consulate General of Japan is on the road, I humbly offer my deepest, most heartfelt condolences for the souls of the fallen here at our house. This Japan-US Joint Memorial Ceremony lies remembered according to the fallen of our house that began in 2015 as an opportunity to remember and honor the nearly 2,500 men, women, and children who perished during the Pearl Harbor attack. This total included over 2,400 American service members and civilians, 56 Japanese aviators, and 9 Japanese submarines. Decades earlier, however, amidst the fierce fighting of World War II, 3 burial ceremonies have taken place, each held to honor and show respect towards the fallen enemy servicemen by the survivors of the opposing side who could have themselves made their own lives in battle in the hands of their enemy. The first of these ceremonies was conducted after the Pearl Harbor attack. A Japanese fighter pilot Saturday was hit by anti-aircraft fire and perished after crashing his plane in the Navy hangar at Kabul. It was their service who gave them a opportunity for the United States Marine Corps in 1971, erecting a memorial in his honor, which still made him terribly curious. A second burial ceremony happened in 1941, following a kamikaze attack after the USS Remembrance in the Battle of Korea. The Navy Squadron Captain William Callaghan directed to perform a Navy dinner with the Japanese army. Serving the casualties and improvised Japanese national flags made by Steve and give up to power burial at sea with full military honors. The day that the final plane landed on the rear surface of the vessel is still visible today, and a photograph of the general is displayed above the battlefield. The third burial ceremony was held in Japan, this one for web services, on June 20th, 1941, for the 2007 shipload were killed in an air flight, and 23 US crew members of 2 B-29 bombers lost their lives in the flashing snow and air collision. A Japanese priest carved into burying the B-29 crew members and built 2 monuments, one of the crew members and one of the victims of the airline. The ritual started by Ito was succeeded in 1972 by Dr. Hiroya Sugano and eventually became the Japan-US Joint Annual Ceremony. Mr. Ito reclaimed from the aircraft digest what can contain. Through that campaign to grant offering a program to the souls of the fallen for Japanese and Americans. This later known as the Japan Ceremony was also celebrated by Dr. Sugano and has been conducted every year at Pearl Harbor. Beginning 2010, as an official event during the American Pearl Harbor Memorial Conference. This year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Sugano was unable to travel to Hawaii to the event. That graciously accepted our invitation to serve as a keynote speaker on today's summit and have sent a special video message to be presented there in April. The 3 April burial ceremonies, which I have just touched upon, depict the ultimate demonstration of humanity and of empathy and understanding of the dignity of a fellow man, even when he was a hated enemy. It is therein which lies the spirit of tolerance. Today, the Japan-US alliance, which is moving in our close body of freedom After the ceremony, in Japanese, Prime Minister Abe expressed his gratitude towards the US for the cultural kindness and tolerance shown to Japan. And President Obama stated that in the deep wounds of war should be transformed into friendship and enduring peace. Both leaders have emphasized the power of reconciliation, that which countless people from both nations have continually dedicated themselves to take the path forward for the last 7.5 decades. As Rear Admiral Chavez joined me this morning, here at this ceremony to pay tribute to the fallen of Pearl Harbor, I cannot help but to quietly awe with the power of this serene place. This place where the Pacific War began. In the past 4 decades, it has slowly but surely grew together so many components that symbolize peace and tolerance and humanity on so many levels. It is my sincere wish that the next generations in Japan, the United States, and all around the world will continue to remember Pearl Harbor as a symbol of reconciliation for the many decades to come. Thank you. Mahalo nui.
Thank you, Consulate General of Japan. I would now like to ask Commander of the U.S. Navy Region Hawaii, Rear Admiral Robert B. Chadwick II, to offer his remarks.
Well, good morning and aloha. Hope-san. Thank you. The President is truly inspiring us today. And I know that obviously this is a very different ceremony than the previous ones have been COVID restrictions. But I want to thank you for co-hosting this meaningful remembrance ceremony in such a serene and historic place. This is certainly one of my favorite places, and by so many members of our Navy do important ceremonies here that bring really so much to them. And obviously, I would also like to thank Dr. Sugano. I understand take his remarks and we can keep the numbers right here. I think we all agree that 2020 is a year that none of us will ever forget. Obviously, we've seen the physical toll on humanity, especially as we've watched in the U.S. and around the world, the COVID cases rising and the impacts on the economies of the world. I think it's safe to say that there is not a nation in the world that has not been impacted in one way, shape, or form by this global pandemic. And certainly this past summer, we conducted the 27th Rim of the Pacific exercise, or RIMPAC, and it was significantly curtailed from the previous exercises. That biennial exercise, the largest naval exercise in the world that I know, is a highlight for commercial operations. Plus, access training opportunities. They also look forward to famous import festivities that are part of the pack as well. It's go around U.S. birthday on the 4th of July. Typically, at my house in the backyard, we host several hundred for a 4th of July barbecue. This past went back to fewer participating nations, certainly Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and other nations did participate. They did get to take part in the action training, but obviously not take advantage of the very world-famous Oahu port visits. But I think the fact that RIMPAC occurring speaks to the recognition by the partner nations of the importance of mutual cooperation, of interoperability, communications, and the combined maritime operations that you can only do in those large exercises. And I think it also was to show the world that as allies and partners, we are committed and capable of executing our global mission together, regardless of the challenges that we face. And I do think that A visible military presence of allies and partners is critical to ensuring the peace and deterring conflict. And obviously that spirit permeates this remembrance ceremony today, where we remember the heroes of the past who helped forge this era of peace and prosperity that we enjoy together. And recently, obviously, we celebrated the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. And, the 75 years since the world ended, in some ways it seems like the vast Pacific has gotten smaller. And while in reality, Japan and the United States have not gotten closer geographically, I would say that's not true of our relationship. And the relationship that you spoke of, that is now built on a foundation of mutual trust, cooperation, and partnership. I think it's important to point out that the alliance between Japan and the United States is one of the cornerstones of the stability and security in the region. And together, we have a united front on ensuring a free and open Indo-Pacific region. And again, I think the relationship, once adversaries, and now the closest partners, allies, and friends, I really do believe it can serve as an example to the world. So eloquently highlighted where we come from. Again, it's adversaries down to the closest of friends. And I think that's what today's ceremony is all about. So I want to thank you for your commitment to this remembrance ceremony. As we do honor those heroes, again, purchased through their sacrifice and peace and prosperity that we enjoy together today. So, for your leadership, truly inspired by your words today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, Chaplain. Next, I would like to introduce this morning's keynote speaker, Dr. Hiroya Sugano. Dr. Sugano has been conducting the Black and Canteen ceremony in Shizuoka, Japan, and at the USS Arizona Memorial Annually, and has also been attending this ceremony at the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day ceremony each year as well. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, he is unable to join us today, but he has sent a video for this occasion.
At first, if this F-86 aircraft on 1995, former U.S. Ambassador Mike Mansfield sent us as a symbol of peace. It's a great honor for me to be invited to join Consulate General Aoki, Rear Admiral Chadwick, and those viewing this virtual ceremony today. We come together in unity, Japanese and Americans, to recognize the fallen of both our great countries on this, the 79th anniversary of an event that altered world peace, world history. Who could have imagined by 79 years ago that this day would be possible? We owe it to everyone, past and present, who believes that yesterday's worst enemies can become today's best friend. But action is also required. I appreciate deeply the efforts of the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the U.S. Navy for their understanding, vision, and initiative in arranging this solemn joint tribute. It serves to further strengthen the bond of friendship and reconciliation that were generated following the dark period. But memories can fade, so it is essential that we continue to educate and remind our young generation that war is costly and peace is priceless. I personally experienced the horror of war as a young boy in Shizuoka, Japan. I never want those nightmares to ever again be visited on my children and grandchildren or anyone else's loved one. As a result, I have dedicated myself to saving lives, first as a physician and second as a messenger, striving to promote peace and reconciliation. I believe that each of us doing our tiny parts can achieve great results. In my opinion, the experiences and stories most powerful are those that remind us the great sadness when lives are cut short by war. One such story has shaped my entire life. It is known as the Blackened Canteen. Briefly, 2B-29 collided over Shizuoka during a firebombing raid in June 1945. 23 American airmen were killed in the raid, as well as nearly 3,000 Japanese citizens. Mr. Fukumatsu Ito, Buddhist priest, retrieved the Americans' bodies from the wreckage and gave them a proper Christian burial. He also retrieved a blackened, heart-distorted canteen, which in Buddhist custom he then used for a tribute to the spirits of the dead airmen. On the anniversary date of the tragedy, Mr. Ito continued his small tributes to the dead Americans and Japanese. He also had two memorials erected in their memory on the Mount Shizuhata, Shizuoka City. I learned of the story when I came upon the memorials during a hike, and I met Mr. Ito shortly before his death in 1972. I was so moved that I agreed to continue his tradition, which it have done since 1972. By the grace of God, I will continue ceremony as long as I can. In past year, support of the National Park Service and the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum, I have also conducted a Blackened Canteen ceremony at the Arizona Memorial as part of the annual Pearl Harbor Commemoration Week activities. But this year, due to the pandemic of COVID-19, I am unable to visit to Honolulu, so I am conducting a virtual ceremony at the Shizuoka Sengen Shrine, according in Shinto rites. In closing, I will always be indebted to many gentlemen who opened many doors to me that would otherwise even closed. Through their encouragement and unfailing support, they have provided me the drive and energy necessary to pursue our mutual goal of peace through the international friendship. Admiral Ronald J. Hayes, U.S. Navy retired, Commander-in-Chief, Pacific Command and Chairman, Emeritus Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum, Mr. Daniel Martinez, Chief Historian at the Arizona Memorial, and Mr. Jiro Yoshida, now deceased, forever Imperial Japanese Navy aviator, who worked tirelessly to unite Japanese and American war veterans and groups in the cause of friendship and reconciliation. Thank you.
それでは、ただいまより、会見の終了です。それでは、ご提供を願います。
花水木をひもぎと差し立てて
12月8日です。今年はコロナの影響で真珠湾の式典には参加できませんので、日米合同慰霊祭ゆかりの地、この浅間神社の花水木の前で、式典を行っていただきます。ありがとうございます。この花水木は今は冬ですので葉が落ちてますけども、日米親善のシンボルとしてアメリカからいただいたものです。で、春になると数年前から小さなきれいな白い花が咲きます。今は冬ですので、葉も落ちてますけど、アメリカからいただいた木を日米親善のシンボルとしていただいたものですので、この前でこういうような式典を、させていただいてありがとうございました。真珠湾には行けませんでしたけども、コロナに平和が負けてはいけないと、そういう思いで、今日皆さんに集まっていただきました。どうもありがとうございました。で、もう一応あれは終わりましたんで、この B25 の遺品の水筒、それから他にお水を用意してますので、花水木に皆さんで、懸垂をしてください。